It's spooky season once again, which means it's time for another installment from the long-running series, VHS. Given my love for found footage nightmares, I've been looking forward to this one as it centers on the holiday of Halloween itself. Let's roll the footage and see how it turns out. VHS Halloween is new streaming on Shudder. It's directed and written by Bryan M. Ferguson, Anna Zlokovic, Paco Plaza, Casper Kelly, Alex Ross Perry, Micheline Pitt, and R.H. Norman. Before we begin, I have to get something off my chest. I admit it, I'm a bit obsessive when it comes to my found footage horror movies. There's a lot of bad ones out there, sure, and most of them are that way because they fail to feel like authentic footage that has been found. Additions like music, crazy edits between camera sources, dream sequences, and hallucinations that show up on camera looking into the psyche of those holding the camera, all of the usual things used in a cinematically filmed movie should just not be a part of a found footage film. When they show up, it immediately takes me out of the film, and thus kills that illusion that this is footage found. And I hate that. I mention this because even though VHS is a long-running found footage series, it makes some of these mistakes, and I'm surprised at this. The franchise has been around for 23 years and has produced some of the most shocking found footage sequences put on tape, so seeing this series not follow the simple found footage format is disheartening. Still, the film has its merits, which I will get into as I dissect each segment. Another thing I like to do with VHS movies, besides hold them up to a strict found footage format, is that I avoid looking at who directed what sequence going in, and I write the review as I watch it. It makes for a richer experience for me going back at the end and realizing what up-and-coming director did what sequence, and I'll pull you along with the process with me in this review. Gone is the attempt to make a wraparound involving the discovery of a set of videotapes that are then played. This is okay for me, since there are only so many ways the franchise can redo this sequence, so it's a forgivable change from form. This time, the wraparound focuses on a group of scientists testing out a new drink called Diet Phantasma on a group of volunteer taste testers. It's made clear from the get-go that this is no ordinary drink. It's made from real ghosts and it has only 1 calorie. The first test goes wrong, let's say. And as the tests continue through the film, in between the other segments, the scientists try to dilute the drink in order to be less destructive on the taster. This segment works mainly because the result of the tasting differs in each test, while all of them are gaudy and grotesque. The series of segments are quite similar to the way the masks kill the wearers in Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, but still, it makes for a fun premise to return to in between the rest of the tales. The first official segment is called Coochie Coochie Coo. It's a funhouse-style tale about a pair of high school seniors who dress up as babies for Halloween in order to get one last holiday candy run around their neighborhood. But as their antics escalate, the local kids warn them about the local legend of the Mommy and her house of horrors. Sure enough, the two kids find themselves at the doorstep of this Mommy and foolishly go inside. This results in the two girls running around in the dark with a single light from their video camera, encountering one disgusting horror after the next. I really like this one. It's filled with every gross substance one associates with babies and their mommies, from soiled diapers to baby formula straight from the tap, so to speak. So it's definitely downright gross at times. But on top of the horrifying creature effects and the prevalence of oozy substances, the first-person perspective slowly pans around the dark while the mommy and her children could be lurking around in the shadows anywhere. This one will get under your skin because of that. It's a good one that is equal parts gross and scary, even though the kids are insufferable as all get out and deserve every bit of torment they receive. Segment 2 is called Ut supra sic infra, or As Above, So Below, which has nothing to do with the other found footage film of the same name. This one splits the story into 2 parts. In one, a detective and someone held for questioning return to a crime scene where a group of people were murdered on Halloween night. In the other, the story follows the events that were recorded on the victim's cell phone that night. While the story is creepy, in many ways, I think those behind this episode need to read their found footage rule books. Found footage isn't two separate stories edited together. The more hands on the footage, the less authentic it feels. This segment even gets fancy and has the subject in the present pointing where his friends were in the empty room the night of the incident, and then as the camera pans, there's a transition to the night in question with the kids. Sure, it makes for a fun way of editing from one scene to the next, and that would be great in a regularly filmed movie. But this kind of stuff goes against what found footage is. Sure, I may be a bit obsessive about maintaining authenticity in these found footage films, but stuff like that ruins the illusion of immediacy. I hate to sound like a broken record here, but it makes it less believable that this is raw footage playing out as it happened. Having made so many found footage segments, the producers of the VHS series should have noticed this and corrected it, or at least steered the director in the right direction. The irony is, this segment didn't need the flashback footage and would have been a much stronger one without it, as everything necessary to tell an effective story could have been told through one forensics camera. It's a shame. Segment 3, Fun Size, might have some rough acting at the beginning from its main 4 stars, particularly the guys, but it soon devolves into another funhouse horror segment reminiscent of the 10/31/98 sequence from the first VHS movie from the guys at Radio Silence. This one deals with a house that asks its trick-or-treaters to only take one piece of candy from a bowl left out on the porch. If you get greedy, the bowl transports the grabber into a nightmare factory led by a pumpkin-headed freak and his goblin henchmen. This segment moves fast and furious and really takes advantage of the frenetic pace to keep the viewer on their toes pretty much all the way through. The pumpkin-headed monster, named Fun Size, is pretty cool as it looks cartoonish and otherworldly, though he does have a David S. Pumpkins vibe. And the method with which the handy is made is indeed grotesque. This one cheats by switching from one camera source to the next with no explanation other than the fact that the filmmakers needed to do it in order to tell the story, a detail that could have been worked around had a little more thought put into it. But all in all, this is a solid sequence that moves at a pace that'll quicken the heart. Woo! The award for most diabolical segment goes to number 4, Kid Print. This one involves a 1992 small town terrorized by a serial killer who has been abducting and killing children for months. The whole sequence is filmed from the perspective of one camera, interspersed with news reports about the latest abduction. The fact that it is children being taken and killed makes this one a much more devious and visceral segment to endure. This one took balls to make, as kids are often taboo in mainstream horror. This is a disturbing little watch. The scenes of bloody kids crying, intercut between a party where kids are having fun, is not for the weak, and the gross-out sequences where the killer peels the flesh from screaming kids is downright nauseating. Even though this one cheats by incorporating news clips and quick cuts to the kids in torment, this is an all-wrong but good and memorable segment. It gave me serious chills, and I like it. The 5th segment, Home Haunt, is a decent way to round out the film. It focuses on a father who is a little too excited for Halloween and his son, who used to be as into it as he is, but has now grown to be an apathetic teenager who wants nothing to do with the Halloween haunt his father puts together every year. But this year is different, as Dad finds an old Halloween Sounds record at an antique shop and plays it during the haunt, unleashing all hell. Keep your eyes peeled for a guest appearance by effects guru Rick Baker, and The Retaliators and Pretty Boys Sarah Nilkin stars as Mom. Home Haunt, of course, is another Funhouse-style segment where all hell breaks loose and things jump out at you while you're in the first-person perspective of holding the camera. It is as if you are in an actual Halloween haunt and includes a creepy-ass witch, some zombies, and some sheet ghosts that are cartoonish, but a whole lot of fun. This one gets bloody, and if 2 of the other segments hadn't used the Halloween haunt coming at you motif, it would have been much more effective. As is, I felt this particular style of segment was utilized a few too many times for one VHS film. Now let's look at the credits and reveal who was behind. Now let's look at the credits and see who was behind each of these segments. Kucha Kucha Koo was done by Anna Zlokovic, who helmed last year's surprise body horror gem, Appendage. I'm impressed at the original idea and monster used in this segment, and she kept the action going at a wonderfully hectic pace. But shame on Paco Plaza for the second segment, Ut Supra Sic Infra. Plaza has made some amazing films and is half of the team that brought us the excellent Rex series. One would think that with that resume, he would not break so many found footage rules. I get that he was trying something new and experimental, but if there's a failure in VHS Halloween, it belongs to this guy. I still love all of his films though, like La Abuela, Veronica, and of course the Rex series. I know Paco Plaza is becoming a big name. I still think that the VHS producers should have reeled him in and had him follow some of the found footage format rules. It tracks that the director of the absolutely batty Fun Size chapter is the product of Yule Log filmmaker Casper Kelly. This one has his cartoonish yet still disturbing take on terror written all over it. The director of the excellent documentary Video Haven, Alex Ross Perry, really impressed me with the truly nightmarish Kid Prince segment. It was the most original of the bunch and probably my favorite because it truly gave me chills. I'm going to be on the lookout for this director's next work. Newcomers R.H. Norman and Micheline Pitt did the final segment, House Haunt, which shows this filmmaker duo really know how to make the bones rattle and the spine tingle, while keeping a maniacal humor about things. Finally, Bryan M. Ferguson is responsible for the wraparound. Ferguson has only done a few shorts, but the energy of these Diet Phantasma segments really kept the momentum racing forward for the entire film. VHS Halloween is a mixed bag, not the best VHS film, but it certainly has its moments. Note to the producers, oversee stuff a little more. Keep things looking authentic. All the best segments do this, but the series has fallen into the more experimental side in the last few films, and it takes away from the authenticity of the footage found. Also, let's have less segments following the Halloween haunt riff, where it's just a person or persons making their way around corners and moving through rooms, only to have various shit jumping out at you. Sure, some of the more effective sequences through the years has followed this format, but there were just too many segments using that same template this time around. I jumped, I was nauseated, and I was disturbed quite a bit in VHS Halloween. I'm glad they're keeping this series going. I just hope there's a bit more oversight on the next one and make it the truest and best found footage it can be. What do you think about me being such a stickler about authenticity in found footage films? And what'd you think of VHS Halloween? Why don't you let me know down in the comments? Please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're doomed. Oh, you're doomed. You're